There is currently an ongoing debate in the Nigerian Senate about the conditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra (IPOB). The information from our reliable source reveals that the Nigerian Senate is currently divided due to the demand from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the condition for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The Nigerian government states that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must publicly denounce the Biafra struggle on national TV, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would be restricted from leaving Nigeria for 10 years, that pro-Biafra activities including flags and gatherings must cease entirely. However, some Igbo senators have objected to the demands, saying it is a trap. According to some Igbo senators, the conditions are described as a trap that could endanger Nnamdi Kanu. They argue that Nnamdi Kanu has already been discharged and acquitted by the courts. Such conditions are unjustified. Allegedly, the Nigerian government fears that Nnamdi Kanu's release without constraints could expose secrets and reignite the Biafra movement. The ongoing detention is viewed as a stalling tactic without legal justification. Instead of giving Nnamdi Kanu such condition, they should advocate for meaningful dialogue to address the root causes of the agitation rather than punitive measures. This news reflects frustrations over Nnamdi Kanu's prolonged detention despite legal rulings in his favor. It underscores the broader tensions surrounding Biafra, the Southeast marginalization, and the government's management of dissent. Let me take you on a journey into one of the most heated debates happening right now in Nigeria. It is a story that involves politics, the struggle for identity, and the question of justice. It is about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra (IPOB), and how his case is shaking the very foundation of the Nigerian Senate. You have probably heard his name before, but trust me, this story is deeper than it seems. To understand what is happening now, we need to go back a bit. Who is Nnamdi Kanu, and why does his name stir up so much emotion across Nigeria? Nnamdi Kanu is not just an ordinary man. He is the leader of the Indigenous People of Biafra (IPOB), a group fighting for the independence of Biafra, a region in southeast Nigeria. Biafra has a long and painful history. In the late 1960s, there was a civil war over the region's attempt to secede. That war left millions dead, mostly from starvation, and its wounds have never fully healed. Fast forward to today, and the Biafra struggle has taken on new life, with Nnamdi Kanu at its center. He is seen by supporters as a hero, a voice for the oppressed. To his critics, however, he is a troublemaker, stirring division in the country. Either way, you can't ignore him, and neither can the government. Nnamdi Kanu's troubles with the Nigerian government are not new. Over the years, he has been arrested multiple times, accused of everything from treason to inciting violence. But the turning point came in June 2021 when he was kidnapped again under mysterious circumstances. Till today, people are still asking, how did they get him? Some say he was adopted in Kenya and brought to Nigeria in what looks more like a covert operation than a legal extradition. Since then, he He has been in detention under the custody of the Department of State Services (DSS), despite numerous court rulings in his favor, including one that discharged and acquitted him. The federal government of Nigeria has refused to let him go. The government reasons they believe his release could destabilize the country, but for his supporters and even some legal experts, this is a clear case of injustice. Now let's fast forward to the present. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who recently took over the reins of power, has decided to tackle the Nnamdi Kanu's issue. But here is the twist. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu isn't just releasing Nnamdi Kanu outright. No, he has put forward some conditions, and these conditions have sparked a firestorm of controversy. Now let me break down the conditions of the federal government for the release of Nnamdi Kanu for you to hear. 1. Nnamdi Kanu must publicly declare that the Biafra struggle is over. Imagine someone who has spent years fighting for a cause suddenly turning around and saying, "Forget it." It is like asking him to betray everything he stands for. Number 2, for the next 10 years, Nnamdi Kanu wouldn't be allowed to leave the country. No traveling abroad for medical care. No visiting supporters outside Nigeria. It is a kind of house arrest, meaning that Nnamdi Kanu will not travel out of Nigeria for the next 10 years. Number 3, no more Biafra activities. This means no flags, no rallies, no gatherings, nothing that even hints at Biafra. Essentially, the Nigerian government wants the Biafra movement to disappear entirely. These are the 3 conditions that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gives for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, this is where things get really interesting. When Tinubu's conditions were brought to the Senate, the Igbo leaders, those representing the Southeast, stood up and said, "This is a trap, and you know what? They might be right." Think about it. If Nnamdi Kanu agrees to these conditions, what happens next? His supporters will likely feel betrayed. They have looked up to him as a symbol of resistance, and seeing him back down could spark even more unrest. On the flip side, if he refuses, he stays in detention, and the cycle of frustration continues. One senator reportedly said, "The courts have already discharged him. Why are we giving him conditions? This isn't justice, it is punishment in disguise." And honestly, they have a point. If the courts have cleared someone, why is the government still holding on? To understand why the Nigerian government is so reluctant to let Nnamdi Kanu go, we need to look at the bigger picture. The Biafra movement isn't just about one man. It is about a deep sense of marginalization felt by many people in the Southeast. For years, they have complained about being excluded from national politics, about underdevelopment in their region, and about being treated as second-class citizens. Nnamdi Kanu's arrest and detention have only added fuel to the fire. His release, the government fears, could reignite the Biafra struggle in ways they can't control. But there is another layer to this. Some insiders claim that Nnamdi Kanu knows too much about the Nigerian government, and that is why they are holding him so tight. During his time leading IPOB, he may have gathered information that could embarrass the government if it ever came out. Releasing him without conditions, they believe, is too risky. As the debate rages on, the Nigerian Senate is split down the middle. On one side, you have those who support Tinubu's conditions, arguing that they are a necessary compromise. On the other side, you have the Igbo senators who see the conditions as unjust and dangerous. The tension in the Senate is so thick, you could cut it with a knife. And while they argue back and forth, Nnamdi Kanu remains in detention, his fate hanging in the balance. Let's take a moment to talk about the human side of this story. Imagine being in Nnamdi Kanu's shoe. For years, he has been locked up, cut off from the world, while his supporters wait for his release. His health has reportedly deteriorated, and there are fears that he might not survive much longer in detention. And then there are his supporters. For them, Nnamdi Kanu's imprisonment isn't just about one man. It is a symbol of their struggle. Every day he spends in detention feels like a slap in the face to their cause. So, where do we go from here? Some people are saying, enough with the conditions. Let's have a proper dialogue. And honestly, that makes sense. If the government truly wants peace, they need to address the root causes of the Biafra agitation. Why are people in the southeast agitating in the first place? What can be done to make them feel included in Nigeria's future? These are the questions we need to be asking. But dialogue requires trust, and right now, there is very little of that. The Nigerian government sees IPOB as a threat, while IPOB sees the Nigerian government as an oppressor. Bridging that gap won't be easy. The stakes in this case are incredibly high. How the government handles Nnamdi Kanu's case could shape Nigeria's future in significant ways. If they get it wrong, they risk deepening the divide between the southeast and the rest of the country. If they get it right, they might just take the first step towards healing decades-old wounds. As I think about this story, I can't help but wonder, how did we get here? How did we reach a point where someone like Nnamdi Kanu could become such a polarizing figure? And more importantly, how do we move forward? At the end of the day, this isn't just about Nnamdi Kanu or IPOB. It is about the kind of country we want to build. A country where justice is truly blind. A country where every region filled values. A country where people can speak their minds without fear of persecution. And so, the debate continues. The Senate is still divided. Tinubu is still weighing his options. And Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention, waiting to see what the future holds. One thing is clear. This story is far from over. Whatever happens next, it will shape the course of Nigeria's history. So let's keep watching, let's keep talking, and let's keep hoping for a solution that brings peace, justice, and unity to this great nation. And what can the government do to address the root causes of the Biafra agitation? Let's talk about it, because at the end of the day, this is about all of us, our future, our country, our home. However, the chairman of Ladipo Market in Lagos, who is an Igbo Biafra man, has been arrested and flown to Abuja by the Nigerian police. Watch this video to get more details.
Ladipo Market has been taken over by the Mushin local government officers. Ladipo Market has been taken over by the Mushin local government officers, and their chairman, Chief Chukuma Onyebinamma, has been arrested and taken to Abuja, he and his men. The chairman arrested by the police, and he has been flown to Abuja, he and those other people working with him. Now, we talked about the Ladipo International Market, and we said that the Mushin local government came and told the leadership of the market that you must include a Yoruba indigene in your leadership. They don't want Igbos flooding the leadership of the Ladipo Market, that they must include Yoruba indigenes in their next election. But somehow crisis erupted during the election day, that is November 16th. When the election took place, there was another round of crisis and clash after the day that they had issues with the directive from Mushin local government. Now the chairman Chief Onyebinamma, his vice chairman Kajetan Anigbo, the electoral committee chairman Fatai Adefat, and the security chairman have been arrested and flown to Abuja over violent attacks in the market. Now, the court has ordered Chief Onyebinamma not to conduct any election in that market. He refused to obey court order, and because of what we call contempt of court. Contempt of court means that if you disobey court orders, it is binding on you that you have committed a crime. So Chief Chukwuma Onyebinamma disobeyed the Lagos State court order and went on to continue the election. Remember, the Mushin local government had advised Chief Chukwuma that they must include Yorubas in their leadership in that Ladipo market. And we know Ladipo is full of Southeasterners. And I told you the last time that since after the election, since Tinubu lost to Peter Obi in Lagos State, there is a grand plan to clip the wings of Igbos in Lagos and the Southwest. So no wonder we are seeing what is happening in Ladipo Market today. As we speak, Chief Chukwuma Onyebinamma is cooling off in police custody in Abuja. Now, this is how it happened. So trouble started after Chief Onyebinamma's supporters planned to rig the market election by appointing his friends, his cronies, as electoral committee members to conduct election on the 16th of November 2024. Now, following the court order that they should not hold, the court order has already told them not to hold the election, but yet they went on with the election. Not only going on with the election, they planned to rig the election. Now, the presiding judge, Justice A.M. Lawal, had earlier given order on the 8th of October 2024 and ordered Chief Onyebinamma not to conduct election in the market and gave 21 days extension of the interlocutory injunction which was served on Chukwuma Onyebinamma on the ex parte motion. It has a suit number, so all these things are documented, and it will be used against Chief Onyebinamma in court. His vice and his security people, all the people that he appointed to, in quotes, according to the report, rig the election in favor of him and his cronies. Now, the information got to the Commissioner of Police, who summoned Onyebinamma but snubbed the Commissioner of Police. See, these are the reports we are getting. So Chief Onyebinamma Chukwuma disobeyed court order, and the invitation of the Commissioner of Police, he turned it down and continued with his plan to conduct the election despite the warning from the Commissioner of Police for him to comply with the order of the court. So according to the traders, Chief Chukwuma Onyebinamma arranged with some unknown security men and secretly went to the market at night with the electoral committee chairman and market security to conduct the election, having set up canopies and chairs including ballot papers. They went in the night to conduct the election with some, whether he hired the security guys, we don't know, but that is the report we are getting. So they set up chairs and canopies with ballot papers to conduct the election in the night, the APC style of elections. So the police officers mobilized to the market were intimidated and overpowered before the Commissioner of Police reinforced. He sent the task force to stop the election and arrested the key suspects behind the plan to conduct the election. However, this angered Chief Onyeibinamma as he dared the judge and insisted that he must conduct the election despite the court order, and directed his electoral committee to go on with the election. That is the information we are getting from Ladipo Market. Like I said it the last time, Igbo should focus on how they will go back to the southeast and develop the southeast. Lagos belongs to the Yorubas. One guy was attacking me the other time. See, when a court gives you an order in Yoruba land, the court is influenced by elements in Yoruba land. The commissioner of police is influenced by elements. It happens everywhere, and these people have a common goal to make sure they limit your powers, limit your reach. Because during the last election we had like something like Igbos bought all the houses in Lagos. Lagos is no man's land, and it angered some people, the APC, Renewals and Conservatives. APC, when I'm talking about these people, they have an APC and Tinubu agenda. They don't have the interest of Yoruba land at heart. That is most important. I have asked this question. These guys that are pushing for conservatism, before Tinubu became president, before Tinubu started campaigning, what were they doing? They were not doing anything. They just hopped on the train that Tinubu's boys created for them, the lodges that Tinubu's boys created for them, and they started shouting conservatism, Yoruba Runu. So Chief Onyeibinamma showing thuggery, this will not help him. Now he is in police custody in Abuja. He's going to go to court. They're going to arrest and jail him. Like the Nnamdi of Lagos that is in jail today. He says he was going to bring IPOB whatever to protect Igbos in the market. We need to understand one thing. There are laws that guide a city. There are Lagos state laws, and there are laws that guide a state and the federal government. If you will disobey a court order and not listen to the commissioner of police, so what are you now saying? Why won't you get arrested? Why won't you face the wrath of the law? I'm not even interested in what some Southwesterners are saying, that this is Yoruba land. No, this is not Yoruba land. The man, according to the report, had these allegations against him, contempt of court. He disobeyed the court order. That is why he's where he is. Not that somebody else. However, the politics is being played that a Yoruba person must be there, and they know that it is so difficult for these people because they are not used to such leadership. So the guy was pushed to the wall and he reacted. Now a judge gave an order, you disobeyed. The commissioner of police advised you to obey a court order, you disobeyed. We know that most court orders are influenced. However you want to see it, most court orders are influenced. When you look at corrupt institutions, you look at the police, you look at the judiciary, especially at this point in time. You remember Bukachua. Bukachua said he influences his wife, who is a justice. You know what it means? He influences his wife, who is a justice, to give judgment to his friends. So if I tell you that judgment can be influenced, moreover that you have seen all this awareness of Yoruba Runu, conservatism, Tiwa, the judge Yoruba, the commissioner of police Yoruba, and you are in Yoruba land, and you don't you think that there should be caution in what you do? I've told Igbos the last time, go back to the southeast and develop. Lagos is not a no man's land as we speak. Maybe it was no man's land in 1990 or 1980, but as we speak it belongs to the Yorubas. The southeasterners need to look at what they can do to develop the southeast. The southeast is becoming deserted, and elements are making it uneasy, difficult for southeasterners to go back and invest, which is the reason I'm saying that the federal government knows what it's doing, have a hand in what is happening in the southeast. They are okay with the insecurity in the southeast. They are okay with the debt, the crisis, with the uncertainty in the southeast. And here in Lagos, the Igbos are being pushed back. So I don't pity for any chairman, because the last time I said Igbos should focus on going back to the southeast to develop, to put things in order. How would you start dragging? You see, when some, you may not agree with what I'm saying, because I know that Igbos have this high-handedness, they have this gra spirit, they have this pride, and it doesn't take you anywhere. This guy has committed a crime. According to the reports we are getting, he has committed a crime and he will go in for it. We are not for whether it's Igbo or this is Igbo or that. I've said it. Igbo should start looking back home. Not that we have some illiterates running the market, and when you run the market, at the end of the day, you put yourself and your family to shame. If it's an Igbo that understands what the law is, he will know how he will navigate his way. But all this rascal way, this APC way of running, you see, you are going in the night to run an election. You are disobeying court order, and you don't listen to the commissioner of police. Then because they at the end of the day you come and cry. No, if you're an educated person, if you understand how law and processes work, you know that those lines are the lines you don't cross. First, you need to understand that this is Yoruba land. You need to understand that, and they can influence anything against you. So you need to play along. You need to understand that we have lost it. We have not been able to develop our region. We came and started developing another man's land. We went all over Nigeria. We started buying shopping plazas, buying houses, developing their lands, while we leave our own. We abandon our backyard and we are going for other people. So I am not in support of, okay, he's Igbo man, they are doing. No, I'm not in that pity party moment. See, Igbos sometimes need to come back to their senses, because they are stubborn, they have pride, they do gragra too much. They need to beat them down. Okay, now that the police have arrested the man, what is the essence of his gragra? You know that Tinubu is in power, and you see, when Buhari was in power, the Fulanis were doing all sorts of things. They were bragging and saying all sorts of things. We will do this and undo this and undo that. But now, after 8 years, Buhari left power. The Fulanis are quiet. They are not saying anything. They cannot do anything. Now you know that a Southwesterner is in power, and in Lagos, the Southwesterner is a product of Lagos. Is a Jagaban in Lagos. His boys are controlling Lagos. You should understand that whatever that is happening from now to 8 years time, you need to be cautious. You need to be wise. You don't need to drag. Follow the normal procedure. They want 2 people out of 10. What's there? Do you have anything you want to hide? Okay, some people are listening to me and they might not understand that Lagos belongs to Yorubas. If you still have it in mind that it's a no man's land, my brother, come, wake up from the reality. You have your land. Go and make it. Go and develop it. Go and invest in it. Worse off, go there, populate your places, and make sure that it becomes a livable place. Since Nigeria has turned into a country whereby everybody is conservative, is having to defend or to guard their space and make sure that nobody else, okay, Tiwantiwa, we Yorubas, then everybody should start doing whatever any other person is doing. I said it that I like what the Yoruba conservatives are doing. We say we are one Nigeria. Let the Yoruba conservatives continue doing what they are doing. We are getting to a place. We want Biafra. We want regionalism. We want resource control. We want restructuring.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.